Hi guys, welcome to the first video in months on this channel, the first reading video in months on this channel. Sorry that I have not been making videos. I have not been reading a ton either, so I've just been in a reading slump and just a slump in general. I feel like I'm fine, but you know. I'm going to talk about everything that I've read so far in 2025 because this is my first video of 2025. Wild. What we're going to do in this video is talk about what I've read so far this year. It is March 8th as of the day I'm recording this, and I have read 6 books so far this year. So we're going to talk about what I've read so far, what some of my reading plans maybe are, what some of my plans for my channel are. So we'll do what I read this year first. I have some of these physically, some of them were digital library books, but the first book I read this year was a novel love story by Ashley Poston. So I gave a novel love story 4 stars. I remember liking it. I thought it was a cute plot, and I love a paranormal romance, so sorry, you totally just heard my hair hitting the microphone. A novel love story is about Elsie, who, she's a reader, she loves reading, and she's supposed to go on this vacation. I'm gonna need this like reading vacation with her book club, and she gets stood up essentially by all of them, not in a mean way, but it just so happens that nobody else can come. And then she breaks down and gets stranded in the town from her favorite book series that never got finished. But while she's there, she meets this guy and kind of like falls in love with him even though she knows it's not real. And yeah, I feel like there was a decent amount of character growth throughout the book, which I really like, but I remember not being super wowed by it. And then the second book I read this year that I also read in January was Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto, which I gave 3.5 stars. Thinking back, I might actually give it 3 stars. It was okay. I think I liked her other book better, which I think I read at the end of last year. What is that called? Forget Me Not. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, in my opinion. I think I wanted more from the plot, because it could have been a really great plot, and I feel like it was just not as well executed as I would have liked, I guess. The next book I read a whole month later was Pride and Protest by Nikki Payne. And that Pride and Protest is oh my god, I didn't tell you what Not Another Love Story was about. I keep doing that. Not Another Love Story is about a girl who plays violin, and she gets unexpectedly promoted to first chair in, I think, like the Pops or something, I don't remember, over this guy who she now kind of has a rivalry with. He came back and he's like a rock star, but he came back and they fall in love, and there's some weird like orchestra politics or something. I don't remember exactly clearly, and I didn't really like it all that much. So Pride and Protest is a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice. The main character's name is Lisa B, and she is a radio DJ and activist, and there is a new development company that's trying to gentrify her neighborhood, and she's protesting it, obviously. And she's going to this party ball thing and mistakes the CEO for a waiter because he's young and he was like outside smoking or something, but he's actually the CEO of the company that's trying to take over that she's protesting. And so shenanigans ensue. Yeah, it was good. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I've never read the actual, I've never read the source text. I've never finished Pride and Prejudice. I started Pride and Prejudice on audiobook and I have not yet finished it. So I can't really compare it to the original text, but I can compare it to the 2005 movie. And I liked it. The next book I read also in February, so I read 2 books in January and 3 in February, and I have read 1.5 in March so far. I'm working on one. But the next book that I read in February was My Funny Demon Valentine by Aurora Asher. And I gave this 3.5 stars. Again, thinking back on it, might be a 3-star. I should really start waiting to rate things until it's been a few days. What was this book about? Obviously it's about a demon. So it's about Asmodeus, Prince of Hell, who comes to Earth. He's a demon, but he comes to Earth. Oh, it has pretty sprayed edges. Anyway, it's about Asmodeus who comes to Earth. They call him Ash, with 3 of his brothers. They're not actually brothers, but they're brothers by choice or whatever. And Evangeline Gregory, who goes by Ava, and they meet. He sees her play. I think she plays a bunch of instruments, but she's like a jazz musician. Basically, he is cursed and nobody finds him attractive. So when they're in this bar and she approaches him, he's like, whoa, she sees me and nobody else does. Just so emo 2000s of him. So she can see through his curse, and they kind of have they have this meet. They have this meet. They meet, and then these people who are coming to try to get the Prince of Hell and his brothers to go back to hell come and attack them. And so everybody leaves the club because they think it's a shooting, which is fortunately very relevant today. And she doesn't want to leave him there, so she leaves because he tells her to, but then she goes back to see if she can do anything to help him, and she sees him turn into a 8-foot tall demon. She obviously doesn't believe it at first because what? That's insane. And then she starts believing it, and then she finds out the whole truth. He tells her eventually, and they fall in love, and there's some complications that I won't say because actually the twist at the end was not that bad. I saw it coming, I don't know, as soon as they started teasing it, I guess. I wasn't expecting something like that to happen when I first started reading the book. The next book I read, the last one I read in February, was Say You'll Be Mine by Naina Kumar, which is about a teacher and an engineer who they're both from Indian families, and their families are trying to arrange their marriages. And the man, Karthik, doesn't want to get married. And Meghna does, eventually. And she has this crush on one of her friends. She has for a long time. And then he's getting married. So she needs a date to his wedding because she doesn't want to look lonely or whatever at his wedding. So she also feels like her parents are never proud of her because she's a teacher and not an engineer or a doctor or... 10 o'clock. Anyway, so she is now her friend's best man, her crush's best man at his wedding. And so when her parents and Karthik's parents try to arrange their marriage, and she finds out that he doesn't want to get married, so she's completely discounts it. He ends up calling her anyway and proposing that they fake an engagement, and she agrees. So it's a fake engagement to lovers situation. I gave it 3.25 stars. It was good. I clearly remember more about it than the others, but that's because it's the most recent one. 3.25 stars, I stand by that. Maybe, honestly, maybe 3.5, considering I gave those ones 3.5, and I might change my ratings, basically. The last book I read so far this year is Do Your Worst by Rosie Danon, and this is a book that I actually picked up at the new romance bookstore in Cambridge, Boston. Me and one of my best friends went into the city for the day to go to Love Struck, which is the new romance bookstore. They also have coffee there. It was really great. I got a rose latte, which is what I make myself every morning, but it's more fun to have somebody else make it for you. I recognized the author's name because I follow Rosie Danon on social media. So I picked it up, but I'd never actually read any of her books. Do Your Worst is about Riley Rhodes, who is a curse breaker by trade, and it's just what her family has always done. They have a proclivity for supernatural things, and they're good at curse breaking. So she goes to an infamous Scottish castle to try to break the curse that's there. And when she arrives, it's late. She goes to this bar for dinner, and she meets this guy. They hit it off. They essentially have a date right there. They kiss. It's really cute. And then the next day, she goes to the castle. She goes to the castle to start work. And who's there but Clark, the guy she met at the bar last night, pub really. And he's trying to get her fired because he doesn't believe in curses. Therefore, he doesn't believe in curse breaking, and he thinks that she's trying to take advantage of people who do. And he has a lot to prove on this job, and her career is also basically riding on this job. So both of them, it's pretty high stakes for their lives. Despite hitting it off, they end up having this rivalry, and they have to work together. They pull some shenanigans on each other, but then they end up, you know, they're in close proximity. They end up just thinking about each other a lot and like falling in love. So that's what this is about. I'm definitely going to change my rating, maybe even to a 4. And now what we're going to get into is my plans for 2025. My plans for this channel specifically. I want to do more reading vlogs, which is not something that historically I have done at all. I have 2 fully planned out with what books I'm going to read. I just need to figure out when I'm doing it because I do need to wait for some to come in from the library for one of them. One of them, the books I'm going to read are right there. Already here from the library, or I own them. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you what the vlogs are because what if I don't do them? Then that's embarrassing. One of them's a little bit like fangirly. So like sorry about that in advance, but I think it's fun. Another thing, which you may have picked up on from this video, because I just talked about everything I read in January and February as well as the first book I read in March. No more monthly TBRs and wrap-ups. I know I love watching other people's. I just can't promise that it'll happen, and also that I will want to sit down and do that because it does take a little while, and I just don't always feel like yapping that much, you know? Clearly today I felt like yapping because I've been yapping for over a half hour. I will make wrap-ups every couple of months, maybe. So somebody who I watch a lot is Lexi, aka Newly Nova. Found her on TikTok last year and started watching her YouTube videos shortly after. I love the pacing of her videos. I love her reactions to videos when she does reading vlogs. I really enjoy her channel. And she doesn't do monthly wrap-ups or TBRs, but occasionally she will do what I've read this season and what I plan to read next season and stuff like that. Like just occasional, like bi-monthly, whatever videos. And I think I'm going to be more like that when inspiration strikes, when I've read a lot of books that I want to talk about, when I'm feeling like sitting down and yapping, then I will do a wrap-up and maybe talk about a couple of books that I really want to read in the coming year, or in the coming couple of months or whatever. But that is the goal. The last thing is I really want to try to be more consistent. I know I have not been consistent lately. I really want to get back into it because I do enjoy making YouTube videos. I enjoy sitting here and talking to a camera. I enjoy editing, and I enjoy putting it out there and knowing that at the very least my friend Nicole is watching. Love you, Nicole. So that is what I've read so far and my plans for 2025. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. If you have ideas, video ideas that you would like to see me do, please let me know in the comments. Or if you have any book recs based off of just what I talked about in this, I read pretty much exclusively romance so far this year, which is not surprising for me, but I am always trying to get into new genres. That is it for me, guys. So I hope you have a good day. Please give this video a thumbs up or subscribe, and I will see you next time. Love you, bye.